it's Jen Suzuki, and I'm in the industry. I meet some of the greatest leaders out there, dealer execs, dealers, GMs, and I'm bringing them in the studio to talk to me about what's making their business pop, what's accelerating their growth. I'm sharing my own personal strategies for your sales teams, so I'm ready to get after it. Are you? Welcome back, listeners. I've got this great guy here with me today, Danny. He is a co-founder of VinCue, and VinCue has been up and coming, on the rise. And I have we have a similar friend, and you may not know this, but Bruce Miller. He's been on my pod before. Bruce Miller is also an independent dealer. And some of you that don't know Danny, he is currently a managing partner and GM of Country Hill Motors in Kansas City. But the thing that I really wanted you guys to hear is something that Bruce Miller and I talked about, which is the journey of change. And he says there's no one better than you being a successful dealer and then finding some holes and problems in the dealership and creating software solutions to tackle those. But it wasn't just a basic software. He has taken leaps of faith into the unknown and really embracing the power of change and having to learn new skills. And I think we all can relate to this and how hard it is to embrace something that feels so uncomfortable and then be able to even partner with somebody new that even has different skills than you. Hence, Chris Hoggs, who is their CEO, and he's their CTO. And I'm guessing from everything I know about everybody in the car dealership, you probably got the selling skills, and then your better half, you guys found a way to unite and bring these skills together to bring one of the best products in the market here, one of our newest tech to the table. So without further ado, let me say hello and welcome, Danny.
Hello. Thank you, Jen. That was an awesome introduction. I'm blushing. Thank you.
Me too. Well, look, it's not every day that you meet somebody that's in, most of my listeners were in the dealership, and we've been grinding it out. And to, hear from somebody that something changed in your life, something happened. I want to hear about this. And then to go out and investigate a very different business and already being successful. You got to tell me a little about what was it about this transition, and I want to hear more about how you made these leaps and how you've embraced change. But before you do that, for context, I would love to hear, maybe it's your elevator pitch, like a little something about VinCue and what makes it so special. Tell us what you built here and what it's for and why it's popping.
Yeah. Well, let me first start off by saying, hey, Bruce. Thanks for connecting Jen and I. Bruce is awesome. All gas, no brakes. That
Yes.
guy, I watch him continue to defy the odds,
Yes.
professionally, medically, and it inspires me. I was just with him at Glenn Lundy's 800% Club last week. So sitting in the room and learning alongside everybody else, which is, by the way, one of my favorite things to do. Is it's always it's like seasons of life, right? Sometimes you're here to teach, sometimes you're here to learn, and for me it's important to have both, for sure. So,
well, what's really nice, I've had Glenn Lundy on before too, and both of these guys actually have both come to my classes and inspired even my subscriber classes. And what I love about both of them, especially this moment, is that you can just inspire next level growth from each other, helping one another. I love supporting people. This is what this is all about.
Totally. So, so you asked me kind of like, what's VinCue, right?
Yeah.
As I was growing up, I just turned 40, and I read something somewhere that said, in your 20s, try everything. In your 30s, figure out what you're good at. And in your 40s, use what you're good at to make meaningful impact in the world. And I feel like I've been living that journey. And alongside me, the automotive industry has also been kind of evolving in the same way. Automotive has been really, I would say, growing in the way that we stand out in marketplaces, our sales practices, our processes. But then in the meantime, all these tools that we've been able to be created to say, hey, here's a trade appraisal process tool, here's an
Mhm.
appraisal tool, here's a merchandising tool, here's an acquisition tool. And all of these things have been evolving alongside the internet and alongside car dealers. And at first, for a very long time, they were giving competitive advantages to car dealers. And we were all excited because as a car dealer, I want to feel innovative. I want to
Mhm.
feel like I have a couple monitors in front of me and I've got my cockpit and I'm making great buying decisions, selling decisions, communicating with my community and making an impact. But at some point, I know this feeling, and I later figured out that I wasn't alone. I started to resent the fact that I had like 7 solutions in front of me. Um,
Right.
and those 7 solutions were also 7 different languages that my team members also got to learn to speak, right? My inventory
Mhm.
side was working in one system, fixed was working in another system, parts of variable were working in 3 systems, all for the ability to appraise, buy, and sell a car.
Mhm.
So the privilege that we have is we've lived it and we continue to live it over the last like 20 years as this technology has evolved. And looking back, we go, okay, cool. Let's start with a blank sheet of paper and imagine how could we improve the lives of the consumer? How could we
Mhm.
improve the lives of automotive professionals?
Mhm.
And it was really a look into other industries. For example, when you walk into any retail store nowadays, Target or REI or whatever, the
Mhm.
things that are on the shelves make it there because there's a lot of signals that go into understanding what SKUs belong on the shelf. Where should these be
Mhm.
purchased? What should be purchased?
Mhm.
All of these things are really dynamic in today's environment.
Mhm.
And on the medical side of innovation, you have this thing called EMR, electronic medical record, right? And it's a place for me, you, for our lives to be improved. So when we go to different professionals around there, they can take our record.
Mhm.
We took some of those ideas and we applied it to automotive, where a vehicle should have a vehicle record, and that vehicle record should get richer as it moves through the internet. And the person that is appraising it at the time gets all that rich data with,
Mm.
meaning everywhere it's ever been, every auction it's ever been through, every price that's ever been on it. And then also all of the live market comparables and understanding that lagging indicators hurt your ability to make a informed decision today. Meaning, we don't want to use old data like 60-day-old auction transactions to make
Sure.
a decision on what we should pay today. And so
Mhm.
it's like you develop those different little disciplines within creating a solution that you're like, you know what, I want it to be better than what exists. Uh,
Mhm.
and what we are learning, because I'll tell you, we did not have a fully formed future, and we still don't when we started this thing. We just knew that we wanted to make a better way to appraise, ingest,
Mhm.
and sell a car. And we're learning. We're learning because our dealers are helping us see some of the pain, and that pain is turning into ways for us to create technology moving forward. And then there's also my dealership. I mean, we've been a petri dish, an incubator since the
Mhm.
very beginning, which has been super cool. I say this and I'll say this 1,000 times, and people are probably sick of me saying this, but innovation happens on the front line.
Yeah.
Uh, there's no other way to say it. It's like
Mhm.
the stuff we're doing in a store. For anybody who's listening, it's like, what technology are you using right now? What are you going outside to appraise a car with? What are you going out to communicate with your customers with? What data are you looking at that's making you feel a certain way?
Mhm.
And should you question that,
Mhm.
right? Uh, those are all the things we think about in creating something meaningful.
It sounds like you had an issue yourself in your own dealership, started working on a better solution,
Yep.
deployed it, and then you find out frontline users define the product.
Yes.
That
Well said.
it's got to evolve based on what people that are using it are telling you, saying, yo, that's actually there's a bigger problem here,
Yep.
or
Yep.
hey, this is what we need it to do.
Yep.
And this is where you're this is why you say what you're saying. Yeah,
Yep.
we're still evolving it.
That's right.
Okay, understood. Um, so tell me like a little bit more about the transition from being a car dealer to becoming a tech co-founder. I need to know what inspired you to make this leap of faith into such unknown territory.
Yeah, part of it was personal, and then part of it was professional. So on the personal side, uh, my dad had a stroke.
Okay.
I lost a family member to suicide, and there was some personal, and it all happened kind of in this perfect storm of like 6 months, where it broke me down to a place where there was no longer really a choice of whether or not I take life seriously. And
Hmm.
what I mean seriously, I mean by like the impact that I want it to have in the world, right? Do I
Hmm.
continue operating this car dealership? Do I open more stores? Do I take the potential that I know that I have in myself and
Hmm.
exert it in uh, a bigger way? And that's what I wanted to do. I mean, quite frankly, and I knew I couldn't do it alone. So I grew up with a really cool guy who's also had a hand in creating some cool technology, and he's the guy that I knew. So I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, dude, can we go have some breakfast?" And him and I were going to breakfast a couple times a week, and
Yeah.
I told him the problem I wanted to solve because it was defined in my mind, right? To
Okay.
the extent that I
Hmm.
knew it at the time. And he didn't create any doubt in me. He didn't say, "Do you know what you're getting yourself into? Do you know how hard it is to build technology?"
No.
He didn't do any of that. Entrepreneurs don't think that way. We're like super positive, and we'll solve the problem as it comes.
Mm.
And then he was the one who had actually introduced me to Chris. And uh, Chris, we call ourselves a two-headed monster because on one side he's this incredible coder that can make complicated things really easy, and
Mm.
on the other side, I'm the guy who is super curious about how to simplify and how to make a better result.
Mhm.
And it's the better result really for my own dealership and for the dealerships that we support. And there's so many different nuances within that vehicle lifecycle journey that we
Mhm.
thought we could really streamline it by bringing it all together. And that's how
Mhm.
VinCue was born.
How'd you know Chris was, the right fit?
Oh man, instinct is all of your experiences coming together in one moment. So
Mm.
I had uh, I've had remember at the time I had gone through some pain in my life. And so when
Mhm.
in those moments you're hyper focused, like hyper focused, and so
Mhm.
my instinct was like laser sharp, and I go, all
Mhm.
right, this guy has what it takes, and if he doesn't have what it takes right now, he's curious enough and hungry enough,
He'll figure it out.
he'll figure it out. And he saw that
Mhm.
in me too, by the way. Uh,
Mhm.
it's certainly a two-way street and continues to be a two-way
Mhm.
street. And
Well, I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
and so and that was, back in that was whatever, 4.5, almost 5 years ago.
Sure, it seems like yesterday you guys have, been working real hard.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you say success, and I don't feel like I
You're like,
don't
"We're
feel
not
like
there yet."
we're not there yet.
Mhm.
We're our success is measured in every performance call we have with a client. That's
Mhm.
what success looks like to us.
I like the way that sounds. I like where your mind's at. It's you just launching, and you're seeing how many opportunities are unfolding, and you probably just wanna tackle everything
We're
all at one time, but
Our
I
priorities are something to manage for sure.
right, like, take scale that back. Um, so anytime anybody changes, whether it's a sales process or it's a pay plan or it's a personnel, there are challenges that everybody faces. And I'm sure that you've challenged your fair share entering the tech industry as somebody with a background in the automotive sector. How did you overcome some of your biggest challenges? Do you want to share maybe some insights, things maybe we wouldn't think about, things that you got hit with, and how do you navigate these things?
The biggest challenges that I've had are not with others, but with myself. Meaning, I have been challenged to make sure that I was doing this for the right reasons. I was challenged
Mhm.
to make sure that I was constantly willing to continue to make the sacrifices needed
Mhm.
to keep investing. Meaning, um, leveraging uh, money
Mhm.
and well-being sometimes, and family time and other
Mhm.
things that continue to compromise in
Mhm.
order for this to be possible. And
Mhm.
and I could not see that out into the future. I could
Mhm.
only see that a couple days in advance.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So you're constantly
Mhm.
in the decision to keep going. It's not like you've just decided and there's no turning back. I could
Mhm.
turn back tomorrow,
For
but that's
sure.
not the point. So for people listening out there, if you're taking stock of your life and you feel like you have more potential,
Mhm.
something I know about software is it's never done. Like once you start a software company, it is perpetually evolving. But
Mhm.
I'm the same way. I'm not done. I'm evolving. And so that's why I think I belong in software because I feel like I'm growing and I feel like our solution is growing. And the whole goal is for our partners to grow. That's why we're in this, right? Our clients.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the hardest thing to know is what's your purpose, what's your why,
Mm.
because that's
Mhm.
the fuel here. The what is the result. You got to
Mhm.
know why you're actually doing this, and at least some piece of your why. It doesn't have
Mhm.
to be the whole thing.
Mhm.
Once you know that, then it's actually quite easy to cut the noise out of any um, people or companies in the industry that want to take up either negative space or want to
Mhm.
take up space that maybe is going to um, take you off focus. So that's what I would tell you in hindsight is protect your why and continue to hone that uh,
Mhm.
because when nobody's listening, when nobody's looking, when nobody cares, uh, that is what's going to get you to the next milestone.
So this really begs the question, and I love the honesty and sincerity behind that. And I fully understand it as a person who's gone down an entire journey to identify purpose and passion and why, which leads my everyday choices. And I can totally relate to what you're saying. But what I bet a lot of people are listening and they're asking themselves is, how did you find this why? And what is this purpose? And how do you find these things? And when you do find these things, what changes in your life and what changes in your choices? And maybe what are some of the outcomes that you've seen from it?
Um, yeah. So, be careful who your partners are, both
Mm,
in relationships and
mhm,
business transactions, because those people you're giving permission to take space in your life. And um, just as you treat people to, or I'm sorry, you train people to how they treat you,
mhm,
the closer people are to you, these people play a big role in your story and then your success. So um, I learned that early on as a kid with some tough stuff that I went through and continue to learn that through adulthood. And at some point, I had to make the decision that my day wasn't going to be decided on somebody else's mood. Uh,
mhm,
my day was going to be
mhm,
decided on how I wanted to steer my day. And I say that to say that pain's not a bad thing.
I
Uh,
agree.
there are so many incredible lessons
Mm,
uh, that pain has taught me
mhm,
and has given me firm ground to stand on when I'm challenged with a decision to make. Whether it's to hire somebody, fire somebody, whether it's to make a business decision, a family decision, whatever.
mhm,
So I would tell you to create a boardroom in
mm,
your life of people who you want sitting at your table. And
mhm,
if there are people who do not belong at the table,
mhm,
get them out of
mhm,
that room fast. uh,
Mhm.
because that will slow you down.
Mhm.
But there is a zone that,
Mhm.
I don't know that I have words to describe yet, but I certainly can feel it when you are, when you know the direction that you want to go, even though you don't yet know the destination. Um, you'll become hyper focused on the people you surround yourself with, and those people should be your cheerleaders.
Mhm.
And so I got lucky in. Or maybe I attracted, who knows, people in my life that uh, feel and behave that way.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I don't think you and I are here by coincidence.
Mhm.
Obviously not, because
Mhm.
I would tell you Bruce behaves in that way too. You don't see
Yes.
Bruce. Um, um, he just goes forward, right? He
Eh,
continues to go forward, and he continues to push away the noise and people telling him that, perhaps his
Mhm.
cancer diagnosis is going to be the end of him.
Right.
He doesn't believe that, not for a second,
No.
because he
No.
cares about impact. Glenn behaves the same way, and you can see
Mhm.
that pattern in others. And so the question I needed to ask myself is, why did I not have the conviction that
Mhm.
these other people have? Well,
Mm.
perhaps because my pain hadn't reached the threshold needed for
Mm.
my conviction to be bigger.
Well, I can tell you this is a great life lesson. My mother taught this to me when I was younger. It's not like I listened to it, but I reflect back on it all the
Mhm.
time because it is money. You are who you associate with.
Yes.
And I understand what you're saying. And I think this is a great lesson for everybody. No matter how big you are, no matter how much you're trying to come up, the people that are around you, your circle, they influence your outcomes. And you have limited time in the day. You want to be around people who bring out the best in you and make you feel a certain way so you can attract all the great things and the great people and the great opportunities. And isn't it funny that when you can connect all of these things, how suddenly your life just feels so much fuller.
So much. But there's another side to that too,
Mhm.
which is, the same reason I was in the room with Bruce and Glenn at their
Mhm.
uh, group last week is so many people got to be that for me. Simultaneously, I
Mhm.
get to be that for others.
Mhm.
And as an employee, 10 years ago when I was, working for the car dealership, I always thought that people needed to pour into me and I didn't need to pour into others.
Mm.
The truth is, I learned more after I took that experience and then practiced by pouring into others, knowing that my intent was good, knowing that it
Mhm.
wasn't perfect, right?
Mhm.
I take that now. It's the same lesson. I don't care how high you
Mhm.
rise. I've gotten to meet some pretty cool people,
Yep.
and the lessons are the same.
Mhm.
Be kind to people, and
Yes.
have good intentions, and leaving behind more than you took. So, in
Great
our
advice.
company, as we continue to grow,
Mhm.
we have a mantra that I instilled, and it's, the mantra is "Run faster." And I know that can sound, uh, it can sound a bit Machiavellian, but hear my intention in it. I believe that, a leader should have vision, should have pace,
Mhm.
and should do the things that they expect others to do. And
Mhm.
so the idea is run faster than me. Meaning,
Mm.
I'm out there, creating product. I'm out there. Before this, I was on a call with one of our clients, helping solve some problems at his car dealership. Um, get out there and make yourself uncomfortable, and get out there and do things that you believe are going to help others, and don't yet worry about what's in it for me. Uh,
Mm.
and so that's what we mean by run faster.
Mm. That's so inspirational, and we don't hear a lot of people talk like this, and I certainly appreciate this. I wasn't expecting all of this, but, these are the conversations I have with Bruce too, so I'm not surprised. This is genuine, it's sincere, and it's real. And a lot of times when you can connect to these this advice you've given us. Be kind, do the right thing, pour into people, bring other people up, get them
Yep.
to run faster than you. Okay, now you're creating like a vibe and an energy around you that I think it allows you to see your full potential. And without recognizing these things, you stay stagnant. So it's like what you said, and I just want to say this again: get out there and get uncomfortable. Do things that don't feel good at first, but that you have the right intentions behind them. And put all your money on it. Bet on yourself,
Yeah.
because if you just keep doing the same stuff expecting different results, you're cray. So you have to try
Right.
and get out there and challenge yourself and build a network of people that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can collab on, that you can inspire each other. And now here you are, really trying to acquire new skills. And I'm guessing that you've gone to the group, this 800 Club with Glenn Lundy, which everybody says great things about, and used to get inspired by everybody else there. In my opinion, clubs like this, groups like this, allow you to learn new skills and acquire the knowledge that you need when other people are doing more than you, and you can be in a situation. You've put yourself in a situation, you had a choice to put yourself in that situation. You had a
Right.
choice to go find this group
Yep.
with people that could inspire you and could help you get to that next level. And for me, that's super encouraging too. How do you acquire new skills and knowledge to get you to navigate being in tech? I mean, you're in a dealership for all these years. How do you do this?
So if your question is like, for those out there that are in a car dealership and they have an idea, right, and they want to bring that idea to market,
Mm-hmm.
there's a term that we use called MVP, which is minimally viable product. So, how do we get something that we can put in the hands of somebody? And the cool part is the money will come. Let me just tell you that. Ideas and vision are the things that a lot of people don't actually have. And I might be unpopular for saying that, but I think a lot of people struggle with vision.
And
Once you have
execution.
an execution of that vision, for sure, there's a lot of people with money. Those people are looking for people with vision. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for people with execution.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to be cavalier in putting your ideas down in on paper, and going out and sharing it with others, just like we did, and saying, how can you get behind what we want to do, the problem that we want to solve?
Mm-hmm.
We VinCue recently went through a capital raise, and we're going from what I call a startup, where
Mm-hmm.
we were younger and scrappier, to what we now identify as a scale up.
Mm-hmm.
We're like teenagers. We're learning that our actions have consequences, and so in that phase of our growth, we still need capital to continue to grow. So that means that we need to go out and raise capital. But what
Mm-hmm.
does that mean? That means our why gets challenged once again, because we're
Mm-hmm.
having to put on paper, why are we here? What are we creating? What's the impact that we're trying to have in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to share that with people who believe in our why. That's no different
Mm.
than when we started with nothing.
Yeah.
It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody who's got an idea, that's sitting in a car dealership, that says, I'm capable of more, um, don't worry about having a fully formed future. Worry about how to get your vision into something that you can share with somebody else. And if that somebody else doesn't like your vision, go to the next person.
Next.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Love all of this, and I can actually envision this, and I hope my listeners can too, on many different fronts. It's about challenging yourself to try something new and have a reason behind it. Collab with other people. Only be surrounded by the people that want to invest in it. Um, Maybe you could share a specific example or an instance where you've had to take a significant leap of faith, as you've made this transition, or maybe like a step into the unknown during this journey. And how did you navigate through this uncertainty? And did you learn anything?
Yeah, for sure. So my what we're talking about here is risk tolerance, is the way I would define it. And I've never been able to know, like, is my risk tolerance higher than anybody else's? I'll tell you what, I don't like gambling. Every time we go to Vegas for a conference, like, I stay away from machines at all costs because I don't like
Okay.
it. But in
You don't
business,
want to lose.
no. But in business, I bet on myself, and I feel like, you know what?
Mhm.
I know that I will. If I won't win financially, I'll win because I learned.
You'll learn a lesson.
I learned a lesson, and
Yeah.
so the biggest risk that we've had is Chris and I didn't take an income for a really long time, and
Mm.
took everything that we had and put it back into the company. And so did others in the company that did the same exact thing, for not like a couple of months, but for a really
Mm.
long time.
Mm.
And it's so that others can continue to make money. That were contributing to the technology and contributing to the result that our dealers were having, while also, this is I think something to that's interesting, is while our customers think that we're rolling in money. Does that make sense?
Oh, are you kidding me? I think every entrepreneur understands this. I've been broke many a times. I
Yeah.
can
So
feel the pain on this one.
yeah, and somebody once told me it's very expensive to try to be rich. And I don't know that the goal here is to be rich. The goal here is to
Right.
have impact. The goal here
Yeah.
is to
And people to
actually,
use your solution and love it and make a
right,
difference.
and use our
Yeah.
talents. One of the risks we're taking right now,
Mhm.
which I'm really excited about, is our first user conference that actually happens in 2 weeks. We got around a table and we said, okay, we want to bring our clients together, and but why do we want to do that?
Uh-huh.
And as a dealer, I always wanted to know who was on the other side of the screen, because I knew there
Mhm.
was humanity on the other side of the technology I was using. There was logic
Mhm.
behind it. There was sleepless nights. There was people that were making it make an impact for me, but I've never been able to really connect with those people in other solutions. And so for us, we said, let's change that. So
Mm.
we came up with the idea of unleashing potential. And it's unleashing potential not in just our clients, but also in our developers, in our performance managers, in our
Mhm.
onboarding people, in our salespeople, in our executives.
Mhm.
These are all people with a ton of potential, some that's being already used, but a lot of it that still has yet to be unleashed. And so that's the name of our conference. And Unleashed is happening in the middle of November. It's only for our customers, and
Mhm.
it's a way to bring our clients to Kansas City, bring our team to that same room, and then spend 2.5 days together learning from each other while bringing other cool industry people and out of industry people
Mhm.
to pour into us.
Mhm.
So that's a big risk. It's a big investment
Mhm.
that we're taking right now. But again, it fits within why we're even doing this for the first place.
Yeah, I think there's a good takeaway here too for the listeners. It's the importance of collaborating. The importance of recognizing that if you don't talk to your customers and really get to know them and really understand the pain points, the challenges. I mean, I could relate this to selling cars all the time. I always say, yeah, your job is to connect with people, to really uncover what they truly need from you so you can be the best assist. It's not about just selling cars. It's really about connecting with people and ensuring that you're helping them in the very best way, not just trying to make money off of people.
That's
It's
right.
like showing them a process or an experience, being a support system for them. And if they feel threatened by you, then they're never going to see the value in you. And but when you make an effort to bring people together, ask questions, really go deep into what people need, this is when I think we can uncover the best outcomes and really be a person of value in a relationship. It's a two-way street. Whether you're a vendor and you're a dealer working together, it is a two-way street, and anybody could say bye at any time. When we're working together, this is where the real magic happens. And the same thing for salespeople that listen too. It's like if you don't stay connected and constantly like stay connected and remember things about people and focus on, this relationship, this is how you build long-term clientele. This is how you sustain yourself in a business.
Jen, and I think you'll appreciate this too. Um, as a dealer, when I was talking to my partners that
Mhm,
were, bringing technology to me, I remember I could just feel, I just
mhm,
knew those that were in it to actually see us grow, and those that were in it to just sell us the solution, right?
mhm,
And now being also on the other side of it, we can
mhm,
tell when we're on a sales call or on a performance call, and the people on the other side are treating us like partners or
mhm.
treating us like
Like a
a total
vendor.
vendor, right?
Right.
Guess who gets the better result?
Yeah.
The partners. It's the ones that
Partners.
say, "You're an extension of our team. We're in
Mhm,
this together. I know
mhm,
you're not perfect. I
mhm,
know we're not perfect,
mhm,
but together we're
mhm,
better." And that
mhm,
again comes back to that idea of unleashed.
mhm,
So that's been my dream, and if we can continue to maintain that as a company, that kind of culture, uh,
mhm,
then I know that we'll continue to grow. And so
mhm,
that's what we protect.
mhm.
Is not being shy about being people first.
Yeah. No, I love this. Great moment right there. People first. And if that becomes your motto, then you're making choices around that. And, if I'm in sales or service, I'm thinking about the words that I'm putting out there. I'm thinking about the emails I'm writing, the texts I'm typing, my voicemails I'm leaving. I'm thinking about how I can really support people and put them first.
Yep.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense. So, in just trying to figure out a few more nuggets of wisdom from
Yeah.
you, um, yeah, the power of change. What does this mean to you? How do you embrace change, and how does it play a role in your success right now? How do you look at it? Because certainly you're hit with obstacles. I'm sure every day, all of us are. And how you navigate these things really defines where you're going, what you could accomplish, and the possibilities. But tell me like your insights and how you embrace change and what that looks like for you.
Change. Oh man. Um, there's like positive change where I'm being pulled by it. It's like I've got this idea and we want to change because it's like we can see a clear way forward. And but then there's also back pressure of change where it's like, man, we gotta cut expenses, or man, we have to do something different because
Mhm.
we're in some pain and we have to go through some more pain
Mhm.
in order to solve that pain so that
Mm.
maybe one day we'll have less pain. It's like I know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
My dad is an incredible person, but he was a bull in a china closet when I was growing up, and he would criticize a lot of things that I tried to do because I was finding my way
Mhm.
within the business. And I came up with a mantra back when, and the mantra was, "If you do what's right, you're never wrong."
Mm.
And what I meant for and that was just a mantra I said in my own head. If you do what's right, you're never wrong.
Mm.
And every day I had a more honest right because I learned something. And so my right kept expanding, right?
Mm.
So if you do right, you're never wrong. If you do right, you're never wrong. And so today, when we're faced with change and a hard decision, um, if I do right, I won't be wrong. And I've got 40 years of experience to lean on to know I've made some mistakes, and today I'm going to do my best right. And the
Mhm.
cool part is, I've earned um, the ability to sit with others um, at my table and at
Mhm.
their table who also believe that. And that I protect. That I think is super cool. So, kind of comes back to there's more lessons around protect who's in your life. Like,
Mhm.
get the toxicity out because um, you don't you don't need that noise if you're really trying to grow.
Mhm.
And that goes for everybody from friendships to business partners to life partners and so forth.
And your children. And your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like um, that's how I would tell you
Mhm.
change is inevitable. and it continues, but we think of it more as the next season of what we're walking into, rather than because we make changes 100 times a day,
I'm
right?
sure.
But it's the little stuff that all adds up to the big stuff.
Hmm. Hmm. So now you're looking back on this journey, and maybe there's something that you would have done differently.
I would have started sooner. I would have,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have. I would have. Now I don't know that I would have been ready sooner.
Hmm.
There's a difference, right? I was,
Hmm.
I was, I was still cooking, and what I mean by cooking, it's like there were some lessons I still had to learn, and maybe I should be grateful that I didn't start later. How about that?
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like I'm not starting this journey 20 years from now. But I wish I would have listened to that voice in my head that says, "Danny, you can do this. Like
Mm,
you can get out there um, and find the right people to help your dream come true."
mm,
And I got very lucky with really good parents who um, believed in me enough to not hold me back.
mhm,
Right? It's like
mhm,
they weren't giving me negative reasons to not go do it,
mhm.
because my parents came from Ukraine and with nothing, and they had to figure it out, and so they were like, "Cool, go figure it out."
We've done it. Well, you can too.
That's right. That's right. And so maybe somebody's listening and goes, "You know what? I'm comfortable."
Mhm,
Um, I would encourage you to find a bigger room if you're
mm,
comfortable.
mhm,
Find a room where you're uncomfortable,
mhm.
because uh, who knows what will come out of you. But I can assure you it's going to be positive.
Yeah. I love this. I mean, it's so hard for people to know what that would look like or what to do with that. Um, but when you're faced with an
You said what,
opportunity.
Jen? You
Mm,
said what? What to
mhm.
do with that?
Yeah.
Uh, we haven't talked much about what, because what is a widget. Why is more important here,
Mm,
because I drive home the fact that so I'm going to a funeral this weekend, of somebody who died way too young, 36
mhm,
years old,
mhm,
and died in a motorcycle accident.
mm,
And what do most people do walking away from a funeral? They go, man, life is short. We got to do something with it,
mm,
uh, and it kind of re-inspires you to feel the sun on your skin and be grateful. Right?
mhm, mhm.
Shouldn't take a funeral to feel that way.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So back to that idea of why. The what is really more about your superpower, and identifying what that superpower is something you're already using in the current job you have. How do you
Mhm,
put yourself in a what situation that gets you to amplify that superpower? uh,
mhm.
Now you have both ends of the algorithm.
And if it can make an impact in a favorable way to the people that it's for,
Yep,
you are winning.
that's right. That's exactly right.
You could
Exactly right.
potentially be a championship team.
That's exactly right. Yes. Well, I live in Kansas City. I mean, the Chiefs, right?
Okay, come on now. You got Taylor on your side now.
So
um, I really respect everything that you were so willing to be so candid and forward with us today. I really wasn't expecting all of that. Well, I'm not surprised, being as the mutual friends we do have are very similar. A lot of lessons to unpack in here, and it's the real, real. This is the real, real. And anyone can go out there and tap into their full potential. Yeah, but you have to take a risk, and there's going to be some blows, and you're going to have to take the blows and learn the lessons, and then you're going to have to get up. And the fact that you could get up and take it again and take it again and take it again and be like, okay, wait a minute. Each one of these uh, knockdowns has got lessons that come along with it. And when you know that you've surrounded yourself by all the right supportive people, it makes the blow so much easier to take, and in fact can inspire the next level of growth, an opportunity or feature in your product.
Yep.
um, yeah, this was awesome. So tell me, just in ending, what's next for you? What have you identified as, okay, I have now unlocked a new journey, a new path, a new inspiration for personally and professional success. Now what? Something that maybe has been uncovered along the way that you're like, need to tap into that now.
Hmm. I am far from done. Our team is just getting started. I mean, we've earned every level that we've achieved in
Mm,
the creation of VinCue, and today um, we're earning scale, where before we could only help a limited number of people, and today we can help more people because we're capable of handling more. Uh,
mm,
what I'm excited about is that next level of that,
mhm, mhm,
because what Chris and I agreed to in the very beginning is we're chasing impact, and the bigger our impact can be as a company, uh,
mhm,
the happier we're going to be.
mhm,
So, in all the ways, in the performance calls, in the sales calls, in the talks that we get to give around the country,
mhm,
in the ideas that we get to be a part of, sitting at a table when somebody
mhm,
has a problem that they want to be able to solve, the partnerships that we can create, and making sure that we're not out there just creating more solutions, but actually taking
mhm,
other people's genius and then working with them, uh,
mhm,
so that there's less noise and more meaningful technology out there. It's
mhm,
all things like that that is really the next season of our journey,
mhm.
so that the people behind us are the ones that are going to continue leading here very soon, because that's the whole purpose of leadership is to pass the microphone.
Bring them all up with you.
That's right.
Yeah. Um, Listen. That's what you're saying, right? Go out there and knock on the doors and listen and let that fuel your next level.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, my friend, thank you so much for this time today. I am just very appreciative of the candidness. I love it. Thank you so much. We never get to hear people open up like this. So
Oh, really? No,
that's
Jen,
the real.
this is a gift, because normally I'm tapping into market data. So this is way more fun.
Well, I'm glad to help you with that awesome part of your day.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
If you like these episodes and my sales game techniques, you should snatch up our latest dealer education program I'm hosting. It's called Jen's Remote Classes, and it's a 1-hour, once-a-week class with me alongside other dealerships all pursuing the same end game to achieve top 10% status in your dealership. For more info, hit me up. All my contact info's in the show notes. I want to hear from you. And follow Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki right now to get notified when episodes like this one drop. This is Jen on the podcast Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. See ya!